Welcome to the Explainer. Listen, I am so ready for this. I am literally about to drop $500 on a brand new, top-of-the-line fishing rod. Because, expensive means you catch more fish, right?
Absolutely not. Seriously, put your wallet away right now. Save your money. Today, we are demystifying the tackle shop and breaking down the actual anatomy of a fishing rod so you don't get scammed out of your hard-earned cash.
Look, it's just so incredibly frustrating. I was at the store the other day picking up 4 different rods. They all had a label slapped right on the side that clearly said medium light. But when I gave them a little shake, they all bent and felt entirely different. How is that even possible?
You're not crazy. It's the ultimate tackle shop frustration, and honestly, every angler goes through it. The reality is, there is absolutely no universal industry-wide standard for fishing rod ratings. None. Every single manufacturer has their own completely subjective system. A medium-heavy bass rod from one brand might literally feel like a broomstick compared to a medium-heavy walleye rod from someone else. You can't just read the label. You have to fundamentally understand the rod blank itself.
So, to get you navigating that shop like a total pro, here's exactly what we are covering today. 1. Rod power. 2. Rod action. 3. Rod materials. And 4. Matching the rod to the fish.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Rod Power Explained. You can really just think of power as the actual muscle of your fishing gear. Technically speaking, it's the rod's resistance to bending under a given amount of weight or force. It is your overall lifting strength. Right, okay, so if I'm targeting a massive catfish, I obviously need a heavy power rod to literally pull it out of the mud. But if I'm just casting tiny jigs for panfish, an ultralight power rod lets me cast without feeling like I'm swinging a telephone pole around. Exactly. Hit the nail on the head. Power is all about your brute force.
Moving right along to Section 2, Understanding Rod Action.
Now, if power is the muscle we just talked about, action acts way more like the rod's reflexes. Action is all about motion and geometry. It designates the exact point on the rod blank where it begins to flex under a load, and how fast that rod returns to a straight, ready position once that load is released.
Okay, let me make sure I'm totally getting this. Power is the muscle, the overall strength required to fight the fish, and action is the reflexes, the flexibility profile of where the bend actually happens, which ultimately affects your casting accuracy and your hook sets. Bingo. It is literally the most common mix-up in all of fishing gear, but understanding that fundamental difference changes absolutely everything.
Let's walk through this spectrum of action. An extra fast rod bends only at the very tip, giving you instant sensitivity for jigging. A fast action bends in the top third, which is pretty much perfect for general bass fishing. A moderate action bends through the top half, making it ideal for treble hooks because it has some built-in give.
And a slow action just bends all the way down to the handle?
Right. It acts as a massive parabolic shock absorber. That is absolutely vital when you're fighting a fish with a paper-thin mouth that might tear if you apply too much sudden pressure.
This brings us perfectly to Section 3, the DNA, Rod Materials.
Let's look under the microscope at the physical materials making these bends actually possible. Back in the 1940s, fiberglass revolutionized the whole industry. It's heavy, it's practically indestructible, and it bends deeply for crankbait fishing. Then along came carbon fiber in the 1970s. It's dramatically lighter, much stiffer, and vastly more sensitive.
And composite rods, they just blend the two together?
Exactly right. A composite gives you the rugged durability of glass combined with a nice touch of the sensitivity you get from carbon.
Now, when we talk about high-end carbon fiber, you are always going to hear the term modulus. Modulus is simply an engineering term measuring stiffness. It's expressed in millions of pounds per square inch, or MSI. A standard rod is usually around 33 million MSI, but once you hit 50 plus MSI, you are dealing with ultra-high modulus carbon fiber. This material stretches very little, which makes it incredibly rigid and super fast.
But here is the major catch with that $500 dream rod you wanted to buy. There is an inverse relationship between modulus and tensile strength. The stiffer the material gets, the more glass-like and brittle it actually becomes.
Wait a second, so my crazy expensive rod is actually more fragile?
Yes, it's a precision instrument. If you smack an ultra-high modulus rod against a boat rail, or if you high-stick it while landing a fish, it will snap catastrophically.
And this is exactly where we break the myth of the overpriced $500 rod. The truth? That core technology, the high-modulus carbon fiber, comes directly from the Weihai Supply Chain in China. When you buy those luxury rods, you're paying hundreds of dollars just for a fancy brand logo, not for better performance.
Wait, no way. So I don't need a $500 rod to catch a massive giant trevally out in Sri Lanka?
Not at all. You can get perfectly balanced professional-grade Weihai rods right now via Duraz Global Shipping for a complete fraction of the price. The real sweet spot for maximum performance without diminishing returns is right there in the $100 to $200 mid-tier range.
Okay, mind blown? Let's wrap this up with Section 4, matching rod to fish. Let's run through a practical map to put this all together. For panfish, you want a light power rod with a fast action to detect those super delicate bites. And for bass, hiding out in heavy cover, medium heavy power to drag them out, paired with a fast action for a really solid hook set. Perfect. Walleye need a medium light, fast rod so you can feel that subtle pressure change. And catfish, heavy power for their sheer weight, but a moderate action to endure those slow pulling fights without pulling the hook out.
Look, relying on a fancy brand name will not save you if you use the wrong rod action. Using the wrong setup actively hurts your chances out on the water. An overpowered, extra-fast carbon rod will literally rip the hook right out of a softmouth fish before you can even blink. Conversely, an underpowered fiberglass rod just won't have the backbone to drive a hook into a tough, bony jaw. Your gear absolutely has to match your target.
So let me get this straight. I'm skipping the $500 rod, checking Daraz for a Weihai blank, and making sure I match my action to my actual fish? Now you're thinking like a bro. So think about the rod sitting in your garage right now. Is it actually the right tool for the job you're asking it to do?
Such a great question to leave off on. Thanks for joining us for this explainer, everyone. Happy casting.